What's up guys, Phoenix here. This video is going to be another Yu-Gi-Oh deck profile, and it is going to be another deck list from the ARG Circuit Series in Phoenix, Arizona. Another top 16 Monarch deck list, this time piloted by Noah Raskin. Slightly different in terms of build and functionality than the last one that I profiled by Jesse Flores, and it's more built around abusing either the Heavenly Monarch's interaction with cards like Karaz and all that nonsense, as well as just advancing your game state through Karaz and doing things like disrupting scales with Karaz on your opponent's turn because of the interaction with Aether, and then it also just has Mega Thestalos here as a tech, just to rip cards out of your opponent's hand and further simplify game states where this deck specifically thrives in, because this deck specifically thrives when your opponent has less cards than you, and you're controlling the game's tempo with your Monarchs, because they're all self-sufficient at this point in time. But anyway, the deck list is as follows: triple Aether, the Heavenly Monarch, only 2 Erebus, the Underworld Monarch, 2 Karaz, the Light Monarch, 1 Thestalos, the Mega Monarch, 2 copies of Majesty's Fiend, triple Idea, the Heaven Squire, triple Eidos, the Underworld Squire, and then 6 hand traps rounding out the monsters with double Effect Veiler, double Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, and then double Max C. It's a lot of hand traps, a lot of possible negation. There's a lot of disruption factor here with the Ghost Ogre, the Veiler, and the Karaz factor being summoned off Aether, which is fairly easy to accomplish. And then you have Majesty's Fiend, you have all these things. This deck is very, very oriented around not letting your opponent play, even more than standard Monarch decks are. But for the spells, triple Domain of the True Monarchs, 1 Return of the Monarchs, 2 Pantheism of the Monarchs, or excuse me, not 2, 3. I'm blind. I'm just looking over to the left at these names because I know they all changed from the OCG names that I'm used to. So yeah, triple Pantheism of the Monarchs, 1 Reinforcement of the Army, triple Tenacity of the Monarchs, triple the Monarch Storm 4th, double Twin Twister in the main, and then double of the Prime Monarch. Now, there's no 1-for-1 in this deck, nor is there a Foolish Burial, but 1-for-1 being slightly more important in stature than Foolish Burial would be, because 1-for-1 gets your engine moving with Idea, and then, you're able to go from there. It's basically another copy of Idea. So I'm not quite understanding why he chose to not include it in his deck. You could probably, I would even argue the fact that you could cut an Eidos for the 1-for-1, because the 1-for-1 is getting Idea, which its main function in turn is to get Eidos out of the deck. So there is that. So that would basically be the change that I would make to the deck, if you were wondering, is that I would put in a 1-for-1, because it's basically you're not getting to your best card. So I don't quite understand that one, but surely he had his reasons, maybe. I don't know. But again, this is a deck list I actually don't know what the placing is on it, because the tournament is still going on at the time that I filmed this video. So I will put in an annotation in the description and in the comments and in the title what final place this deck actually gets. I'll update that information once the tournament runs its course, or once this deck gets knocked out of Top Cut, essentially. So there is that. I forgot to mention that at the beginning of the video. But anyway, continuing on, no extra deck, into the side deck, triple Fog King for the Mirror, double Speedroid Menko, 2 Vanity's Fiend, and then 1 Caius the Mega Monarch are all the monsters in this man's side deck. For the rest of the side deck, double Book of Eclipse, which I'm not quite certain what specifically this is for, but I'm pretty sure that there's a reason for it. I can't think off the top of my head of what it might be. Double MST, 2 March of the Monarchs, and then 1 Raigeki is this entire deck list. Now, this deck does, as I've already said, function ultimately a bit differently from Jesse Flores' build, which is also on my channel, as I've said already, in the fact that it is strictly meant to just be disruption. You've got Ghost Ogres, you got Veilers, and you have Max C that all serve to function as deterrence and disruption for your opponent to play. And then you have double Majesty's Fiend as just prevention, and then you have Karaz's interaction with the Pendulum-based decks with popping scales and stuff like that. Sure, they get to draw cards, but the chance of them drawing another relevant scale after all their effects have been used for the turn is basically a lot lesser of a chance than you just letting them have their scale. It's a lot of different things there. It's basically, this deck is very reactive, and that is something that you do not see from other Monarch decks. This basically looks a lot more like a standard Monarch deck list from the OCG. This is more of a 1-for-1 conversion over into the TCG, other than other builds that we've seen. And the Thestalos, the Mega Monarch, is a very, very nifty tech. I really like the fact that it is included in here, because, for the exact same reason why Moulin Glace is good in Mermails, this card is good here. It's very easy to search, it's very easy to summon, it's fairly easily accessible and droppable and usable, so why would you not do that? It just further simplifies game states, which is where the Monarch deck thrives. The Monarch deck thrives in simplified game states because a lot of these cards recur themselves through like Eidos and Idea's grave effects and tribute effects and all these other factors that come into play. But anyway, that is it for this deck profile. It's a little bit short, but there's not really a lot to explain because I've already explained like the Monarch stuff already, and it's a very simple and basic deck. But anyway, as always, guys, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe to all the nonsense you usually do. Click on that if you have not. I'd greatly appreciate it. It helps me make money, and there's no reason to lie to you guys about that. If you have an ad block enabled, do me a quick favor. As usual, I'm going to ask that you remove the ad block, click an ad or two, then put the ad block back on when you're done. It just helps me out more than I can ever stress, and I'd be greatly appreciative to you if that's something you could take the time out of your day to do, to show your support of the stuff that I'm doing for the channel. I want to continually make videos that you guys like, and that's just a great way to show how much you like the things that I'm doing, and it motivates me further to make those kinds of videos. But I'll be doing some more deck profiles on the ARG Phoenix top 16 decks in the future. They will be going up over the course of maybe the rest of the day today, or as well as being spaced out over the next couple of days once things are a little bit more finalized in terms of standings, stuff like that. But I mainly just wanted to talk about this Monarch deck because this is the first actual like event in America that we've had since Bosch was legal, and it's also the first event under YCS Atlanta format, which means the Monarch deck is legal as well as Bosch being legal. So there's a lot of information to pull from this, and I just really wanted to get the information out there as soon as possible. But as I said, I'll update all those areas with the information of where this guy and this deck, ends up finally placing once it does so. But other than that, that is all for this video, and as always, guys, take care.